Hello everyone. So today we are going to talk about Azure ADF, Azure Data Factory. So I'm not going to introduce what does ADF means, what is the utility of that. It's not like that. It's a very quick and first practical scenario. So in a short, Azure Data Factory is a tool, you can call it a ETL tool, where we extract the data if we need to transfer the data and load the data in a different destination. So that means today my primary objective is like that. I'm going to load the data from a Azure Blob container, which are the normal CSV files, and thereafter I'm going to just put those files in a table format into the SQL database. So for this demonstration purpose, it's a very quick and fast demo. So for this particular purpose, I'll be needing one particular Azure container, which will be my source of the files, one particular SQL database, which will be my destinations. So I have created all the things just to save the time over here. So as you can see, this is my Azure storage container, storage account, and this is my container. In this container, I have a blob called input data, where I have just uploaded two very simple CSV files. Let me show you that first. This is a social network, it's CSV files, and if I can show you what is the data containing over here, it's a very simple data: user ID, gender, age, estimated salary, and purchase. That's one particular data source for me, one particular CSV file for me, and another CSV is this train CSV. Let me show you that data also over here. So as you see, this is also a very simple CSV file where I have the passenger ID, survivor, P class, name, sex, age, those kind of information over there. And as I told you, this is a CSV file. So as you can see, this is a normal CSV file as a comma separated over here. So that two file will be acting as my source of the data. Now the purpose of this demo is that using the Azure ADF, I am going to take this data from this Azure storage container, blob container, and put those files over this SQL server. We will create two separate tables on the fly. It will be a dynamic, means there is no static data as such. As you see, there are two files. So of course the two table will be created over here. For now, this is my SQL server on a PaaS service, and I don't have any table over here that will be created on the file based on the source. So that means whenever we are going to upload any file, any CSV file over here, that particular file via ADF will be transformed and just going to be loaded into the SQL server, and the name of the SQL server table will be dynamically coming from this particular container files. Like if the file name is train CSV, then the table name will be train. Okay, that's the whole purpose of this demo. So this is my resource group RG for this particular ADF demo purpose that I'm using right now. So here I have already created the Azure data factory for me, and so I just want to click it over here. And if you don't have the Azure data factory, you just can create it over here. If you go in the home section and search for the Azure data factory, let me show you that first. Okay, so that's the thing from where you can have the Azure data factory over here. Okay, so you can create your ADF from here, or you can, I'm just going to use my Azure data factory over here. So I will launch my data factory. So let me show you that first. Okay, all my resources of this particular demo purpose are under this RG. So I'm quickly going to the RG first. Okay, now here I have my Azure data factory. So I'm just going to click it and I'm going to launch it. Okay, so whenever you click the Azure data factory, you will be having this kind of environment where it says that this is your ADF. Okay, and this is the ADF studio. Do you wish to launch it? Yes, my purpose is to launch it. I'm going to launch it. Okay, so whenever you click the launch button, it will be open up in a separate window altogether for you. So let it be open up first. Okay, now once you landed in this Azure data factory, for the first time you will not see this kind of recent resources, because I am using for a couple of days for now, right? So that is why the recent resources over created over here. Okay, I will go a little bit slow. So now the question here is that if Azure Data Factory is a separate service, I'm going to take the file from this container. I'm going to put those files in a SQL table. Now, if Azure Data Factory is a separate service, so that need to establish a communication with the Azure Blob storage as well as the SQL server that I'm targeting as a destination. So this become a source and this become a destination. So of course, the first and foremost thing will be needed the communication. We need to establish the communication with the ADF and the Azure Blob storage and the SQL. So for that, you go to the this particular manage icon over here, and once you click it, you will be landing over here. So this service what actually integrates the ADF with the different source or the destination called the link services. Okay, that's you can say that's a kind of connection that needed to be established before we can run the ADF show over here. So for this demonstration purpose, I will create two connection string over here, for one for the source and one for the destination. Now once you come over here, you need to click the new over here. Now there you can find a lot of option for the data source. What is your actually data source data? Okay, so it can be a hell lot of things. It can be from Azure itself, okay, or it can be from other cloud provider like the Amazon, Google. It can go anywhere. Okay, for this demonstration purpose, I'll be using the Azure Blob storage because my source files are in the Azure Blob storage. Okay, so once you click it and hit the continue button, it will be asking for your name. Okay, so for this demonstration purpose, I will name it demo and blob input connection. Okay, so sorry, it will not accept that way. Okay, I have to remove this particular character from here. Okay, so the connection name I have given demo blob input connection. Okay, now in the description you can write anything, but for now, for this demonstration purpose, I'm not interested into that. So connect via a integration runtime. Okay, let it be auto resolve right now. In separate video, in an incoming video, we can talk over how to create a new runtime also, integration runtime also. Okay, now authentication purpose. So how as I told you, ADF is a very separate service, so that need to establish the communication first with the Azure Blob container. Okay, that's a separate service altogether. Now how they marry to each other, okay, means how they're going to communicate, what is the authentication behind that. Okay, so it can be from a connection string, can be from a Azure Key Vault. In a production environment, it should be coming from the Azure Key Vault, but this demonstration is a very simple demonstration. For now, I'm saying I'm just interested on the account keys. Okay, now here you have an option called from Azure subscription or from enter manual. So I'm picking it automatically from my Azure subscription itself. So let me pick up my subscription first. Okay, this is my subscription. Now I have to give the name of the Azure storage container. Okay, so now storage account name, I'm very sorry. So as you see, my storage account name is this one. Okay, so this is my storage account name, so I have to put it over here. So this is my storage account name. Now how do you want to communicate it? Okay, I can test the connection to the link service to file path. So for now, I'm just leaving it that way. Now I need to test the connection. Okay, so when you hit the connection, if it is everything is proper, then it should show you the connection is successful. Okay, behind the screen, as you're creating the connection from the ADF to your blob container, so we don't have to take the headaches of creating those things over here. It is created automatically for us. That's one of the beautiful thing of Azure ADF. Okay, so now once you verified your connection is successful to the blob storage, then I just want to click over the create button. So as you see, my connection is been created over here for this particular Azure content Azure storage account that I'm targeting over here. So I have a SQL account also, right? That's a destination. It's a destination. It is my source, and this is my destination. Okay. So for now, I need to create another link service for the SQL. So of course, you can have the SQL database over here, and there, as I told you, there are a lot of options are there. And if you go to the database, okay, you can have, it is coming from, lot of sources. Okay, it is not centered to, absolutely on Azure. Rather, it is you can say that is, it is connected over the world of, clouds, and also on the on-prem you can connect it. Okay, so for now that will be my Azure SQL database. So I'm just selecting it. So let's continue. Okay, now I have to name this also. Let it be demo. What should I name it? SQL con. Okay, that's it. Okay, now the same thing for the same thing. Now of course you have to pick up the Azure subscription. You have to pick up the server name. If you are running, multiple SQL server version on a particular subscription, you could have a multiple thing, but for now I have only one particular SQL server in my account for this particular Azure subscription. So I'm picking this up. Now it will go to the load the database. I have only one database, so master is by default, that, but it is my customized database, so I have just picked it up. Now SQL connection. So you can a lot of option over here: SQL communication, service principal, user manage identity, so system as manage identity. So those can be explored over the time, but for now, right now, for this demo purpose, it's a very simple demo. So I'm just keeping it as a SQL authentication for my purpose. Okay, so of course in the production it should be on Azure Key Vault. Okay, not a direct and straightforward connection. So let us test the connection once more time. Okay, great. Our SQL connection has been established with the ADF. Okay, so the first step we have done. Okay, so we have created our two data connection link services, one for the source, that is the Azure Blob container and Azure storage account, and one is for the SQL database that we are using right now. Okay, now if you concentrate over here, you will see that this particular two connection that we just created, the relationship is related to 0. That means it is not used yet. Okay, that's the relation, because we need to use this connection to create our data source. Okay, so if you are familiar with any kind of programming language or programming environment, you know that when you get the data from any kind of source, you need to load it on the data set, right? So the primary purpose is for that. Okay, so we have to create some kind of data set to load the data. Okay, so for that reason you have to go over here, this particular icon. Once you click it, you will be landing over here. Okay, these call your factory resources. So as I told you, we need to create data set. Okay, one for the incoming, one for the outgoing, means one for the input that will be coming from the Azure storage, and one data set for the SQL that we want to insert the data in the SQL tables. Okay, now once you click it, you have an option of new data set. Okay, let me create it first. So of course, whatever your link service, like if you remember on the creating the link service, I have chosen the Azure Blob storage. So of course my data set needs to be matched with my link service. Okay, that is the mandate condition over here. So I'm just clicking Azure Blob storage. I'm clicking it over here. Now if you remember, my file are the CSV files. Okay, all are the CSV files. Two files are in CSV. Okay, so of course we have a lot of option over here that talked about Excel, JSON, over different format, binary also, OCR also, JSON is there also. But for my demo purpose, my files are only CSV files, so that's a delimited text. So I'm picking it up. Let's hit the continue. Okay, once you continue, it will be asking for to give some name over here. Okay, the data set name. So let me give it, demo. Okay, demo blob CSV. Okay, so let it be demo data set, stand for DS. Okay, and that is a blob CSV. Okay, that's my input. So I have to pick the link service from here. So I have already created the link service to, just to pick it up from here. But if you don't have that, you are creating the data set in the very first place and you don't have the link service, of course you can create in the new button to click the link service and associate it with it. Okay, but I have that right now. Okay, so my link service, one thing to note here is that, see, I have a lot of link service in my account. Likewise, we created 2 demo link services. You remember what? One is for the blob, one for the SQL. That was started with the keyword called demo. But you see, it only pick up only one demo blob. Okay, now how it is associating it? Okay, means which link service it is picking up, what is the option, how it is conjugated. Okay, the thing is that when we create a data set over here in the previous step, okay, we have given that we are opting for the Azure blob storage. Okay, so it goes for its link service and pick only the link service which is associated with the Azure blob storage. Okay, so let me pick it up. Okay, now here is a very interesting point. Okay, see, for let me show you that first. Okay, so here, as you see, my CSV file always containing a first row as a header, so that's a by default option. Okay, I'm not opting out for that, rather I'm selecting it. Now here is the thing is that file path, container, directory and the file name. Right now, if you pick it up, you see this is the storage account I have targeted, where I have 3 block container over here. One is data, one is input, one is output. Okay, right? So I'll be interested on this input. So here I can actually pick the file itself. So I will have the 2 files to pick it up. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, let me pick up this file. Okay, once you pick it up, okay, so if you hit the OK button, then of course once this is being created, okay, so you will be landing over here. Okay, so as you see, this is the connection, this is the link service that the dataset is using right now. Okay, so of course you can hit the test connection to test it. You can edit the change the connection from here. Also, the thing to be looked for is the file path. So it's input data, directory, I don't have any supporter under it. Okay, so that's our input data / train.csv. Now once you click this particular preview data, the preview window will be opened up for you to preview your data, how it looks like. Okay, now if you want to change it, of course you can change it. You need to click the browse and just have to change the source of the data. Let it be social networking for now. Okay, once you land it over here, you click the preview data, you will have the preview data of the total thing. Okay, but the problem with this approach is that each and every time you see, you have to pick up one particular file, CSV file, to be work as a source of this particular data set. But that we don't want, right? Because our input data has multiple CSV file over here. Okay, so we want the name of the file should be coming as a dynamic one, not a static one. Okay, so if you are again familiar with any kind of programming language, you can understand that within a folder, if you have 10 files, 10 CSV files, so usually what we do, we run a for each loop, okay, and iterate over the content of the directory or the folder and take the file one by one, and that input and the tick or the id is totally dynamic. It is not static in the nature. Okay, that is what exactly we are going to do over here. So for that reason, we cannot specify this particular name of the file as a hard-coded one. Rather, we will be interested if the file name is coming dynamically in the fly and dataset can accept the file name and can take the data out of it. That's the whole purpose of it. Okay, for that reason, what you need to do is that you have to go to your this particular parameter section. Okay, now in the parameter section, what you need to do is that you have to keep the parameter, means again I'm repeating the same word. If you are familiar with any kind of programming language, you know what parameter means. Parameter is a dynamic thing that can get the value at the runtime, right? So of course, let my parameter name be what should it be? File name. Okay, that's fine. File name. Now you can define your parameter in the types are available, like string, int, float, bool, array, object, and SQL string. But for now, it will be fantastic for me if I pick up the string. So do you want to give me the any default value? No, I'm not interested to give any kind of default value over here. So after defining this parameter, I'll be again coming back to the connection section. Okay, now here I want to do some trick. Okay, so what the trick is, see here I will only give the file name. Okay, so what could be my file name? That is the social networking ads or the train. Okay, not giving the CSV. Okay, I'm not interested on that, only the name of the file. Okay, that will be populated at the runtime. So of course, for that reason, this name cannot be static one, right? We need to change it. So what I'm going to do, if you click this particular text box, you will have a thing called add dynamic content. As the name suggested, it's dynamic in nature, it's not static, right? That we want. So of course we have to click it over here. Now how do you find the dynamic content over here? You just have to type the thing called dataset. Okay, and of course that will give you the parameter from here. So again, see, this is your dynamic content over here. Okay, so once if you remove it, okay, if I remove it and I just add add dynamic content over here. So this file name, okay, this is the parameter file name I have added over here, right? If you remember that I have added one particular parameter that called file name. Under the parameter it is available, and we have a multiple function over here. Okay, I will come to that part. Okay, so for now the name will be coming from the file name itself, right? So of course dataset, okay, and file name, that should be my dynamic content in nature. But if I give it that way, then of course when the pipeline will run, then I have to give the total file name, like also with the extension of the file. That I really don't want. I am interested on the file name only. Okay, so can it be dynamically appended? Okay, means if I can give my file name as train and the CSV can be dynamically appended to concatenate to give the total file name, that will be fantastic, right? So of course we can do it. That is what the function does. Okay, so there are a lot of function over here, but right now I'll be interested about one particular function that is called concat. And as you know, concat is a very common function. So we all understand what concat does. It concatenates separate string and give you the output of a single string. So my first string will be this, where I will give the file name as train. So I want this particular thing to be attached with .csv, right? That should be my entire thing over here, my file name over here. So that should be okay. So let it be okay over here. So concat dataset file name with the CSV extension. So if I supply the parameter as a train over here, then it will become the train.csv that will indicate on this file. Okay. Now, if you really want to preview the data, the question is that can I preview the data? Is it possible? Because I have not given any hard-coded file name. How ADF will work for me? Let's understand that first. Okay. Let's hit the preview button. Now, once you click the preview button, of course, if you get this kind of the required blob is missing, please contact the blob, blah 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 things over here. So don't get worry for that. It will be solved. Okay. So that's a standard error that ADF gives us if something erroneous that we have done over here, and if you expand the window, okay, so you will see it is not evaluating rightly the file part. Okay, because the file name is file name.csv does not exist over here, so we have to give it. Okay, so why it is not evaluating? See, this kind of error can happen, but don't worry, because ADF will give you the total entire error information. It is good to have those errors so that it indicated that we are in a right track. Okay, so if you encounter this kind of error, what is happening over here? As you see, can I make it big? Yeah. So as you see, this particular portion, okay, was not evaluated properly. Means it says that concat, but as concat is a function, it should be evaluating the content of the concat and return us back. So that is not happening over here. What is the reason behind it? Because see, we just forget to put a @ okay, that's the indicative of a function over here. That is why it is not evaluated. Okay, now once you've done it, now if you click the preview the data, see, now it's getting us it is telling us, give me the file name, the dynamic file name, which I will see and give you the result for that. Okay, right? So as you know, there are two file, train and social network ads. Okay, so let me put in train over here. Okay, now once you hit it, you will see magic, boom, the entire data is coming up for us. But see, this file name is never been hard coded anywhere, so that means, see, it's file name.csv. so once if you wanted to have this particular this particular data to be loaded on the fly, then of course what you have to do, you have to just again click the preview data. It will ask you for the file name, what you are targeting. So I'm not giving the extension at all. Once you click it, see, now it is loading another CSV file for us. So that means it's totally dynamic in nature. There is no static value, absolutely. I hope this explanation for now up to this is very much clear to everyone. So let's continue our journey over here. Okay, so once you done all the things over here, now this is our input, means this is our input source, right? As I told you, the primary intention of this is that take the file from the Azure storage and put it in somewhere in the SQL server. That is our objective of that, right? So of course, for that reason, I have to create another data source, another data set rather, sorry, not source, another data destination, data set destination, which will marry with our SQL database. So I will be clicking the again the same thing. I just click the new dataset just to create a new dataset for me. I will be picking Azure SQL database from here, and of course it will ask for your a name. Let it be demo. What should be it? DS SQL SQL. Yeah, that should be it. SQL table. Yeah, fine. Link service. See, again the thing what I've told previously. Now it is picking only the link service that is associated with Azure SQL database, right? So I'll be picking this one. Okay. Now it asks for your table name. But seriously, do I have any table name over here in the SQL database? No, I don't have. Okay, so I can give it, right? Okay, that's the objective. So where it is that? Yeah. So I don't want to take any kind of table name over here, because the primary purpose is that the table will be created on the fly and the data will be loaded in the table. Okay, that is dynamic in nature also, depending on our input CSV source files. So let us click on the OK over here. Okay, now the thing is that, see, how do I tell the SQL, what is my table name, right? As you remember, in the container section, when we are loading the CSV file, we put a file name as a dynamic parameter to be evaluated at the runtime to pick the particular CSV file on a for each loop, something like that. So of course, to create a SQL Server table, SQL also be dynamic in nature, and the table needed to be in a for each loop, and it can process and inter-process can goes on. Okay, so for that purpose, of course, we need another parameter over here, where we can put the a value dynamically. So let it be table name, because I want my table name to be dynamic in nature. Okay, so I'm creating a variable, a parameter which can hold the value of the table name. Okay, so that's the parameter over here. Default value none. Type, yes, absolutely string, because it's a table name. Don't go for the schema. I don't need a schema right now. Okay, now here is the thing. Now if you go here over this this particular table, and there is no nothing to be selected, because SQL does not, my SQL database does not have any table right now. You only have to click this edit. Okay, so schema name, by default it will be DBO. I'm not giving the schema name right now. By default it will be picked up. Okay, but rather I'm interested to give the table name. Okay, so again, I'm not hard coding it over here at all. Okay, rather what should I do? Okay, now I should type dataset again. Okay, and my variable limit, what is that? Table name, right? I have to give it. Clear? Now hit OK. So of course, if you hit the preview data, see, you will not preview the data, because it will be asking, actually it is asking for the table name in the SQL database, but I don't have the table right now for me. So of course, if I give any arbitrary value, it will not be evaluated and no data will be shown to me. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll handle this situation. That is the need actually. Okay. Now, so this is the destination dataset for my SQL database. Okay. So we have successfully created two particular datasets. One is the demo DS Blob CSV, where it is going to hold our input CSV file as an input source. And another thing is that we have created one particular SQL dataset also to hold the data of our SQL tables that we will be pushing through the data. Via this dataset, we will push the data into the SQL tables. That's the whole purpose of it. Okay. Now, once that thing is being created, what do we need to do? So, of course, we create two data sets, right? But we want to run the entire show, right? So for that reason, what you need to do, you need to create a thing called pipeline. Okay, so ADF pipeline is a thing that will actually eventually hold all of your component that you want to run. It's a pipeline, right? You can put so many pieces over there to just create your pipeline and just run it and do the needful. That's the whole purpose for it, right? So for now, once I landed over here, as you remember, when I create the connector for this particular input CSV file as my input source, I did not specify any particular name of the file. Okay, that should be dynamic. So of course, the question is how I would get all the file name from the this particular Azure storage container one by one manner. So we need to read these things as we write codes to read the file in a directory or files in a folder. Is the same approach. Okay, so for that reason ADF has a thing called here. Did I forget to mention you that ADF is actually node code solution. Okay, so whatever I'm doing right now, it is the thing that we write our code like C#, Java, name it anything. Okay, right? So just to execute all the steps from start to finish. But as you see, ADF, where we really do not write any single piece of line of code. Okay, it's only drag and drop and create your own pipeline to perform this activity. That's why creating a ADF pipeline is very easy, a very less time consuming process. Okay, so here activities. Okay, in ADF we have several activities. Okay, we can move or transform. We can copy data from one particular Azure storage to another storage, one particular SQL table to another SQL table. Okay, you can create a data flow altogether. You can connect with the Azure Synapse. You can run your notebook. Okay, of course Azure function, you can communicate with the Azure function over here. Of course, if you want to do kind of analytical things, like you have the option to connect to the Databricks over here. You can run your Databricks notebook, create it in Python for now. Okay, so it's a hell of a thing, HD inside, Hadoop inside, you all remember that, right? And also, okay, you can have a machine learning capability also to be embedded in the ADF. Okay, so if you want to analyze your incoming data, when you extract your data, you transform your data, and you want to do some kind of analytics on it, you can run your machine learning capability on top of it. Okay, and of course these are a very fantastic, lot of options available in Azure Data Factory. Okay, so for now I'll be interested to particular one thing called get metadata. Okay, so as the name suggested, get metadata. Okay, that means by this particular activity we are getting the metadata of something. Okay, so okay, for now let me squeeze those things. Okay, now if you come over here, as you see, let's name it get metadata for Blob. Okay, because that's the thing we are doing right now. Okay, we are interested to get the metadata of the Blob container, means whatever the files contained over there, we are really interested to see that. Now this is the name I have changed. Now if you see here, name is the mandatory one, and apart from other things are not mandatory. And also in the settings there is a saying red one means there is one particular setting that we need to put the value over here. Now the data set, we have to pick the data set, right? We have already created our data set, right? You will remember that we created our demo ds blob CSV, so I'm picking it up. Okay, now here is a very interesting thing. This particular data set is dynamic in nature, where we give the parameter name as file name. That is what exactly coming over here. Okay, that is what exactly coming over here. So of course, to know how this particular thing will be populated dynamically, this is not a static in nature at all. Clear? So the value will be coming for this okay, let me go to the for each loop, then I can explain you more. Okay, so under user property you don't have anything right now, you don't need to have to. Okay, so under settings, that is the value. Okay, now the question is that what exactly, see, get metadata can give you a lot of things, right? I'm showing you this. Okay, so what exactly you have to tell, what exactly we are interested in, right? That we have to define that what exactly we are interested in. Okay, so we are interested in mainly to the the particular name. Okay, name means we have to give the your child item. So okay, let me make it big for you to, so that you can visualize the thing. Okay, so in under the metadata you have a lot of things. Okay, so child item, child count, exist, item name, item type, last modified, a lot of option is available for you. But for now I'm interested in the child items, because whatever blob container I have specified over there, that really resides on the child items. Okay, so now as this thing is being created, okay, so this is where we are standing over right now. Okay, so this is our get metadata option for it. So now once you created this, okay, once you created this, so of course this is the metadata, means we are abstracting the element from here. Okay, now really do we need how do I say that? Okay, let it be that way. I will come to this picture last. Okay, so I'm taking the child item. Okay, now once this runs, actually it will give me the this particular CSV file one after one from this get metadata. That will be return of the get metadata. Okay, now so of course it will give me a lot of things. So if we have multiple files, then I have to run a for each loop onto it. Okay, right? So that is what you will have a green arrow over here. Okay, on completion, what exactly we are looking for? Okay, add the activity. So just type for each. Okay, so that is the for each. Okay, see, we all understand the for each loop, right? So it's very easy. So means whatever the file name coming from here, we are going to run a for each loop for those all the files. Okay, that's a for each loop for us. Now once you click on these settings, okay, so okay, item. So in the for each loop, what will happen, that this particular for each loop will be coming to your way one by one. Okay, now for this for each loop, what you can do, you can click this particular for each loop. Okay, so if we edit this for each loop, so you will see that under the for each loop what exactly we are going to perform. Okay, so if you remember, we have an option called copy data, right? You remember that, right? So you just need to drag it over here. Okay, now name it copy coffee blob to SQL, something like that. Okay, now it will, this particular copy activity has few property, like the source, means what is your source data set, on top of it will run. That's the ask, right? So of course we all understand what is our source data set will be, right? Okay, so for now let me pick this up. That is my source blob data set. Okay, clear? Now it will ask you again the file name. Okay, now how do you know the file name? That file name is a dynamic in nature, right? So of course this file name we have to put it dynamic way. Okay, so if you click this add dynamic content over here and click it over here, and this particular for each loop will give you the item one by one. It's called item. One particular value is called item. So we'll be interested on a particular thing that is called item name, right? This is the for each loop. You can let me cancel it, clear this session. Let me open it for a better understanding. Okay, now if you click in this file, it is asking for the value. If you click on this add dynamic content, okay, then you have all the option over here. Okay, lot of things, but this is the for each iterated, because this particular copy activity is running under this iteration of the for each. Okay, so that means for each current item, if you pick that thing and type a dot, okay, it will where it is showing that it is an individual item for this for each loop. Okay, that's the item. Okay, and we are picking only the name of this particular item. So once you click it, the file name will be coming from here. Now file path type. Okay, so of course this should be a wildcat. Because why it is a wildcat? Because see, the thing is that why it is a wildcat? Because the reason is that this file is not actually static in nature. You remember that, right? It is not a static in nature. Okay, so of course file path cannot be file path in dataset. No, that's not true for us. Prefix not true. Okay, list of file is not. It's a wildcat file path. Okay, so it will be evaluated at a runtime. So you can use the same expression from here. Okay, and put it over here like this one, right? Okay, so this is your source, means this pipeline will run the for each loop. Now under the for each loop we are performing a copy data activity. Copy data has two things, one is called your source and one is called your destination. Okay, so it is your source. I have set it up the source over here. Now I am going to give the destination. Destination is the other word called sync. Okay, so where do I sync? Okay, so let me pick up my SQL thing from here. So this is the SQL dataset we have created. So you know those things, right? Okay, so under this destination or under the sync, if you come over here, this particular table name. Of course, as you remember, the table name cannot be static also, right? I cannot give any value over here. It should be coming on a dynamic as a nature. So of course the same thing, I have to click over here. I have to click this dynamic content. Okay, if I click over here again, I am picking this up. Okay, now I am putting this name right? But if you remember, this name actually will contain the CSV extension also. So that will be train.csv. That will be coming under, if you evaluate this particular item.name, that will be your train.csv. So a table name cannot contain a CSV, like it's not right. So what we need to do is that, can we replace can we replace something? Okay, let me show you that. Okay, so where is my function? Okay, let me cut it up first for you. Let me cut it up. Go to the function. Okay, in the string function you will have a replace. Okay, if you cannot search, you can search it over here also, but this is the replace. Okay, replace accept few parameters. So the first thing is that, what exactly the total string over here, this is the total string, what exactly we are looking for in the string, that's the search, right? So the search will be CSV. Okay, and what if it founds, then what will be the replacement for that? So that's an empty string for me. So of course I have to remove this way. So that will be my table name. Okay, this is my table name. Okay, so this is my source, this is my sync, and this is my copy activity over here. Now if you really want to see how the things are working over here, or how the thing will work over here, rather I should say that way. Okay, so of course you can revisit your pipeline over here. Okay, and of course you can click your okay, this item is missing over here. I have to parameter. See what is asking. Let me show you that. Okay, so this is your entire pipeline. Clear? This is your entire pipeline that you are seeing right now. Okay, now under this pipeline, if you click on over here, it is showing you the property of this pipeline. But if you click on any activity, it is showing you the particular activity thing over here. Okay, now the question here is that once I click, see, this is the get metadata activity that we all understand, right? Now this for each activity, once you click this for each activity, it is asking you, I have created this particular thing. That's fine, that's for each. Okay, so what will be my item? This property should be parameterized. Okay, means my item should be parameterized, right? So what was my previous previous step? Get metadata for blob, right? If you remember, get metadata from blob. Okay, so of course I need the item name from there, right? Get metadata for blob. What exactly it is returning? It is returning me the item name. I'm interested in the item name, that because that is the file name of the so I'll be clicking this one, activity get metadata for blob. That's my activity name. Okay, and from out I'll be taking the item name from here. Okay, fine for now. Okay, so it has only one activity in a, what is that? It will be under for each loop. It will be copying the data from blob to SQL. That's my all activity right now, for now. Okay, so you can give your pipe now a beautiful name. What should I do? Copy blob to SQL table. Let me put it a demo. That is the convention we are using right now. Okay, so that's fantastic. Now once all the things are done, you need to validate it. Okay, so if you miss something over here, instantly it will going to show you, you just missed the point. It will not be validated. Okay, so but no value provided for a parameter file name. Okay, that's great. Okay, so intentionally I have created one particular loophole over here. Okay, the loophole is that I want to show you the validate, how the validate actually works. Okay, so this is the validation, up to enter pipeline. So once you click it, it is giving you a notification that get metadata for blob. Okay, fantastic. No value provided for parameter file name. So it is saying that if you come over here, my dear, so no value has provided here for the file name. Clear? So that's the thing it is indicating over here, because it is asking that you are working with this particular data set. Okay, that's fine, absolutely fine, but that data set has a thing called file name over here, but you did not specify any file name. What should I get it and where should I get it? That's the thing over here. Okay, so for this particular thing, what we can do actually, see, this file name is absolutely not needed right now. Okay, I just put it intentionally over there just to show you the validation step over here. Okay, so it's saying that I can run, but you have to give me the file name. Now the question is that, do we really need the file name? Just think for a moment. Our data set is demo ds blob csv, right? Now if I open it, if I want to click it, it can be opened from here. Okay, now the question is that, do I need to perform this particular step or not? Okay, because the reason is that if you go to this pipeline, okay, where is that? Okay, as you see, the data, the file name is coming from this metadata, actually child item. Okay, you remember we picked the child item, right? So this is coming automatically for us. So we really don't need a file name, because the get metadata child item will give us the file name, so we don't really need it. Okay, so now we can edit. So why I put it over here, one is the for this particular validation purpose that I really want to show you, and another thing was that I just want to show you how you can dynamically set those things up. Okay, means if you are not using the ADF can go any direction actually, frankly speaking. Okay, means see, how do I say that? Okay, if you do not have the get metadata over there, okay, then this is the step you are going to perform. Okay, now under for each loop you can push it over here and take the file one after one and do the processing over there. So but as we are using the metadata, we really don't need that particular step, file path. Okay, so for now just leave it, delete it. Okay, we don't need it. Okay, parameter, you can remove this parameter. Okay, now once you've done it, if you go back to this particular demo table over here, now if you want to validate it, okay, now it shows it satisfies the condition. Okay, so how do we run it? That's the question, right? So here's a button called debug. Okay, once you enter it, it will run the pipeline. Let us enter this. Okay, once you enter it, it will give you this kind of information, you can say informative. Okay, so initially we got a error over here. The express what is saying, okay, the property item name does not exist. Fantastic. So as you see, we have an error, right? This particular output dot item name cannot be evaluated because the property item name does not exist. Okay, so that's the error we are getting for now. Okay.